Jurassic Park. Now playing the PS7.
Ecto goggles with Ecto Bomber, Neutron Blaster, and Water Zapper, each sold separately.
From the corner penthouse of Spook Central all the way to Star Killer Base, this is Yes Have Some Podcast.
Do I? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags.
The only place in the multiverse where you can love the book, hate the movie, but still buy all the toys.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
I'm not looking for a friend. I'm looking for a Jedi Master.
What?
Please remember to hold on to your butts and get ready to get stressed. With your hosts, Craig Goldberg, Abigail Gardner, and Jacob Walsh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some Podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday or Thursday or Friday evening, depending on when you're listening to this. It is March. Spring is in the air. It's not. Weather's awful.
Like rain is in the air.
It's fucking awful.
It should be springtime.
Jake, what's your weather situation?
It's raining here today.
It sucks. Well, you like the rain. You like the rain.
Jake's only happy when it rains.
Yeah. That was a garbage statement.
Shirley Manson.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Abigail, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Despite the rain. I'm excited. We're all going to hang out next weekend. And we're all very excited.
Oh.
It's all coming together.
All stress-free.
It's all locking in.
Jake, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. Just, did some, left work early today, and then I missed a guy getting hit by a car. But we have cameras outside, so camera caught it. So I did get to witness it, but yeah, that happened.
It's knowing Jake, I bet you were really well, I can't believe I missed that.
Well, I mean,
the day I leave early.
What other reaction would you expect me to have?
Abby'd be like, I'm really glad I missed that.
I'm so glad I didn't have to see that. I did. I watched it. I literally was like, oh God, that is shocking as fuck.
He was fine.
He was fine. He did fly 50 feet down the road, though.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I like the noise he makes. I like listening to the noise that he makes. He's super surprised that he got hit by a car by running through the busiest intersection in Valdosta while the light was green. So,
yeah. Look both ways, folks.
Always look both ways. Hey, Jake.
Blame it on the rain. Okay, that's my last. That's my last.
Jake,
reference.
what was? Were you into Rotten.com? Did you go to that?
I a little bit. I didn't get on it too much, but I do remember Rotten.com.
This is Death Museum territory. Should I
exit
the podcast?
You should leave.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Get on out of here.
This is too mature. Too much for Abby to handle.
This is too mature.
I remember that.
Yes, I did.
I can handle sex stuff, but the fucked up, violent stuff, gotta get a little.
Faces of Death. My dad used to tell me about Faces of Death videos.
Yeah, but Faces of Death is fake.
Is it all fake?
Is it?
Faces of Death. They came out I believe it was a couple years. I don't want to say a couple years, but it was probably at least 10 years at this point. They came out with the director, and he was just like, yeah, it's obviously all fake. It's all fake footage. There's one or two things in there that are real, but the things that are real are the very way less extreme kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's 98%.
The not extreme
fake,
deaths
and
are real.
It was just portrayed as real. It was it was a gimmick.
The only one that
they
was
got
real,
away with it because it was so long ago.
The only one that was real was 85-year-old man passes away peacefully in his sleep.
I think if any of us or anybody put on Faces of Death now, it would probably come across as kind of silly, and it would probably be oh yeah, this is clearly fake. But when you watch it,
sounds like a bonus episode that you guys get to do.
Yeah,
that I don't have to watch.
I'll fucking watch it.
I'll do that shit.
I've heard about it. It makes me curious, but knowing that it's fake means I have no interest.
It's not. Yeah, it's not anything to get all crazy about.
All right. Well, that's the episode.
That was our AMA.
Then we do this on slow news weeks. We're let's talk about something. Really, it is a slow. Well, it's
Faces
not a
of Death. Fresh news.
It's not a slow news week in the real world. There's a lot happening in the real world, but in our world, the world of Yes Have Some, it is a slow news week. It feels until today, today there was some news. Matt Reeves tweeted out the pictures of the Batmobile. I guess we'll talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
But besides that, nothing is happening.
No.
I mean, there's a lot actually happening, but there's nothing happening. You know, I think it's with last week with Toy Fair and all the craziness, it's definitely a little calmer. So what we're going to do this week is a little YHS AMA 2.0. We did this once before. It was a lot of fun. We took to Yes Have Some Group Therapy and Instagram and said, ask us anything. We will answer. So we got a bunch of questions to go through. A lot, actually. So we'll get to that real quick. Before we do that, did you guys see the Batmobile? What do you think? That's my question to you guys. Jake, Batmobile, Batman, DC, you care?
I think it looks cool. I like the Batmobile. It looks completely different than any of the other Batmobiles. It is the most, I think, real world looking of the Batmobiles, and it just looks like I don't know. It looks fancy.
Dude,
like
it's got muscle
ride
car curves. It's like also very retro, vintage looking. I like that. Almost has like that Mustang like flair. Yeah, it's tight. It's like I feel like a much different version of Batman and the Batmobile than I've seen, so I'm into it.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling pretty good about this trilogy. I know they're filming it just now, and probably they're going to be on the streets with it, so they wanted to get those first images out. But who knows? It's a ways away.
If Jason Momoa is not riding in the back seat, I'm happy with it.
Who?
I said if Jason Momoa is not riding like on the back of it, I'm a lot happier with it.
Yeah. I mean, so far, I think all the imagery has looked great. Who knows if the movie's going to be good, but like I like the way everything's looking so far.
So far, so good on the Batman front. Are we getting that Snyder cut? Hey, if they release that, I'm not going to watch it. I literally could care less. Honestly, I wouldn't know what was different about it. If I watched.
Yeah, I would have to watch the original first because, you know, I've only seen it once. And
the fact is, I'm not going to do that. So
yeah, I don't want to do that either.
It seems like a big time commitment.
No, that's like literally 12 hours or something.
Could you imagine calling a friend on the phone like, hey, man, what do you do? He's like, oh, dude, I'm just watching Justice League. He'll be like, oh.
On purpose?
Let me call you back. Yeah.
Like, there's a hotline you can call for those. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no interest in that.
God. Somebody out, we're offending somebody. Yeah, that's fine.
We have some rabid DC supporters like in our group therapy.
Yeah,
it's cool. You know, we support you. Do your thing, man. Yeah,
do your thing. Watch those shitty movies. Do your thing
if you love them.
Okay, so we're gonna get to the AMA and Freeform. Lots of good questions, probably some bad ones too. We will not hesitate to call out the bad ones because really.
Yeah, we'll just drop it through the trap door.
Oh, we should get like a. Wow. We need like a trapdoor sound effect.
Buzzer or something.
Hold on.
No, let me.
No, it won't work on your computer because it's not connected to the thing.
Okay, so I won't.
So what I'm going to do is find trapdoor sound effect, soundboard. Here we go. Cool. And here we go.
Royalty free trapdoor.
I don't know if Jake will be able to hear these, but
I didn't like that.
Oh, these are all like
they have the guy talking.
They're all like
it's like ASMR. I don't like it.
Well, what do you call that? Watermark.
Just go to YouTube.
No. We gotta find a soundboard.
Let me do it.
Abby doesn't know about soundboards.
I'll do it faster.
Okay. Well, while you do that, we'll get the AMA started.
Cool.
Does that sound good, Jacob Walsh?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Cool. Well, we'll just have Abby make a fun, shitty question.
Yeah, because also I couldn't hear that.
And Jay could see the whole thing's falling apart. You ask people
needs to calm down.
If I can't hear it, it's pointless.
If you can't hear it.
Well, I don't know what this is.
What is that's a trap door?
It doesn't.
No, it's not. That sounded like a circus.
A claw machine is what it was. Trapdoor sound effect, high quality.
Do it again.
Well,
that's not a.
That's like a bowling pin falling over.
I got an idea. Let's skip this part and start doing this question.
Game show buzzer.
Yeah, do like a bat, like a bat, like an X, like on the voice.
I found it.
Yeah. All right, this is your last chance.
Wrong answer. Sound effects. All sounds. Hold on. We have to. These are free.
Oh my God.
Right.
This is really disappointing. We should have definitely.
This is the worst episode we've ever done.
right, we're gonna get started.
Okay. Good.
Well, Abby works on that.
Yeah.
Hey, Abby, here's your challenge. By the end of this episode, find something worth doing. Hey, turn that off.
Turn that off.
Turn that off. You're just playing somebody's birthday party on YouTube. What is that? That's like a children's birthday party.
I'm imagining that this is the part.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
We happy? All right, now.
I was imagining that this is the part where we learn that Abby can't read, and she's just like typing random shit in, and that's why we're getting birthday party and circus music.
she's like, all right, I found
that it?
Music.
The fail buzzer sound. It's just it's like a Bart Simpson like meme.
All right, can I just go? Rrr?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's way better.
All right, we're gonna go in order. We will be saying your name. Brock Parker asks, Congo, ? Skip.
My answer was yes.
All right.
Yep, that's
we
also mine.
responded Congo.
Thomas David asks, by the way, these are all coming from Yes Have Some Group Therapy, and I also fielded Instagram, so we'll have some of those later. When are you going to build a hybrid proton pack / slime blower? My answer is never. I can't build things anymore. I don't have the time for that.
I literally wrote, me personally, never. I buy, I don't build.
While I do want to build a proton pack, I don't want to build a proton pack slime blower hybrid.
That kind of sounds like the video game.
It's like the video game.
Right.
Yeah. Those look cool, they look cool in the video game, but I've seen some of those like built in real life, and they do look cool until you wear them.
Right.
And they look ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane.
They're too big.
It's too much. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Jason Smith asks, if money wasn't a concern, sorry, I'm laughing about the carnival music from earlier. If money wasn't a concern, what bucket list costume would you rock at Dragon Con? Full scale Kenner RGB figure recreation, movie costume, etc. This is a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Abigail.
I think the question before it I was going to answer really quick too, because they asked about Daniel Peckham asked about RGB hybrid props. And I said that I'd like to make Janine's Racing Ringer, which is like the car that comes with the RGB figure.
Okay.
Okay. And then moving on to the Jason Smith question. If money wasn't an object, I could do anything. I would want to do Ripley from Aliens, full scale with the power loader and the Reebok high tops. And it's like a look that I've wanted to do for a long time. And after looking at it, and looking it all up, I'm kind of thinking this might be my year.
It's been done. People do that.
Yeah, but like to have, I don't know, to build the whole thing. Yeah, have the smart.
You're gonna have to talk to Adam Marish.
Dude,
there was a power
I'll
loader
do it if I have
last
to.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been people wearing power
It looks
loaders.
cool. And
I'm surprised you've never
carrying
done
a large gun.
You've never done Ripley. That is surprising.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I've got a cat named Jonesy, and I love those movies. So it makes sense. That's on my list.
Jake, bucket list costume?
It would be a screen accurate Godzilla costume.
Oh, okay. What year? Which one though?
Probably like one of the ones around, like maybe 89 or around. I would say somewhere between 89 and like 93. Those are my favorite costumes from the Godzilla movies, like Godzilla versus Biollante or Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Those are all like the best, like the ones that came out in the 90s. Cool. It would be the best thing.
If money wasn't an object, my dream would be to have a Twister group in the Dragon Con parade.
Yeah. Like you actually buy cars for everybody.
Yeah. Vehicles, not like Bill's truck. By the way,
yeah,
I've never read the Twister script, but I have 100% theory that character's name wasn't Bill. And Bill Paxton got on set. He's like, "You guys are gonna call me Bill, okay? It's Bill. I can't do anything about it." But yeah, Bill's truck and Joe's truck.
That'd
and
be awesome.
The RV.
Yeah, to be like riding as Joe in the back with Dorothy.
If I mistreat you, girl.
And like throw out the little
it would be funny to have like if you had like Bill's truck but have Joe, like there's the scene where Joe's in the back of the truck and she's her and Bill are yelling at each other in the middle of the rain and she's trying to get, like if you were just reciting that dialogue as if you're in the middle of the tornado.
You
build it's like one of the old the
Covered in Mud,
the Great Magic Movie ride. It's like two animatronic characters just going back and forth the whole time.
Dude, yes.
Okay, that was a good one.
Yeah, I like that.
Frankie Van Hooser says, what are your guilty pleasure bands / music? Ooh, I like this one. Something that makes you feel like people give me crap for listening to them, but I don't care. For me, it's Limp Bizkit. By the way, you know what? Props to Frankie here, because not only did he named the album Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water, which, don't get me started. Let's keep rolling here.
Yeah, I don't want to break stuff.
Brings me right back to driving around with my friends looking for places to make movies. I don't know what that means, but let's. That's what we're doing, actually.
Yeah.
All right, guilty pleasure music. I can start. My any like emo or punk rock music that came out between like 2000 to 2005, I still regularly listen to. It is embarrassing. Some of it's great, but some of it, you know.
I feel like so much of that has inspired modern day artists that it's kind of like accepted. It's kind of like the hair metal of, you know, the early 2000s. That's how people felt about it, but there's still good melodies.
Nothing I call embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, listen, hey, Creed's One is a good album. Now, that is an embarrassing thing to say on a podcast. Yep.
I used to be obsessed with Creed.
The goal is to be. I was going to sing, but okay.
I thought I got really into them. I remember like the worship band at our church was like playing Higher, and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
This cover of
Scott Stapp is the hottest. Yeah.
Okay. So that would be mine. I do venture back to like early 2000s, like crappy rock music fairly often, and because you know, there was definitely a time in my life where I was like, guys, Incubus is one of the greatest bands in the world. It's just like, you listen to it now, you're like, whew, oh boy.
You need to admit what your like number one on Spotify was a couple years ago.
Oh my god.
If we're talking about it, yeah.
Was it the year I had a lot of anxiety?
Yeah. You wouldn't
my
my
top 5 songs on Spotify were all variations of White Noise. And like
fan noise,
low hums.
Hey, that's literally what my top 5 for this past year was all rain noises.
Yeah. Meditation, stress relief.
It was like, Craig, your 2017 Spotify playlist is here. What's your number one song?
But mine was that because I sleep to rain noises, and it's like, you know, when you're sleeping like 6 hours a night, it fucking racks up.
Yeah, dude.
Racks it up. Abby,
racks it right on up.
Embarrassing music.
I have actual artists that I will name by name. I get flack and shit for liking Chance the Rapper, and I'll
shut the fuck up. It's
true. I've had people make fun of me.
Oh my god.
And I don't care. For him being lame and corny, not for like
he's one of the biggest artists in the world.
Yeah, but I still get shit.
People make fun of me all the time. I just love Van Gogh.
Oh, okay. Well, I put it down. And Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And Hamilton. So those are all things that I've gotten actual shit for liking and that are on my Spotify list.
All right.
I said Kanye too because he's kind of going through some weird stuff and it's not really cool to like him, but I went through very deep Kanye
I
hole.
literally don't think anything you just said counts as a guilty pleasure. A guilty pleasure is like something that society as a whole has said.
This is terrible.
Like, I think if you like regularly were like listening to Jessica Simpson's first album, that would be a guilty pleasure.
Okay.
All right. Jake?
So I just have really good taste.
Yeah, I guess that's
all there is to it, guys. I cannot say I like something that's shitty.
I don't like this question was kind of hard for me because like I don't feel shame for any of the stuff that I listen to on a regular basis. But similar to what you said, Craig, and what the question said, I grew up listening to nothing but like nu metal, like my favorite band was Korn for a very long time, and I also probably know every word to every song on almost every Limp Bizkit album, and like just all of that, all those fucking bands like Marilyn Manson and Slipknot and fucking Edema and
that's a deep cut.
Fucking like Kitty and Evanescence and like Rob Zombie. the first Godsmack album, like all that shit. Stained. I used to love that shit, and I do have like a playlist on Spotify that's titled High School, and it's just like all of this fucking shit that like I used to listen to in high school. And every now and then I'll put it on, and even though some of it it'll come on and I'm like, oh, I really like this song. Some of it I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever heard, but I feel like I have to make myself listen to it because I love it.
I feel like I've just thought of I can say Dashboard Confessional is a band that I would be embarrassed to say that I would still enjoy listening to, and I do. Because I loved them when I was like in 10th, 11th, whatever, 12th grade.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
All right, next up. Philip Clark, is there a chance Dragon Con could get canceled from the coronavirus if it hits Atlanta? Here's the thing. I feel like Yes Have Some is the national spokesperson for coronavirus in the Atlanta area.
And Dragon Con.
So I will say, yeah, I guess there's a chance. They're canceling Emerald City Comic Con, and it's early. Listen, what is it? It's March. I'm sure either we'll all be dead or no one will care about coronavirus by the time Dragon Con rolls around.
Mm-hmm. I think it's probably most likely that nobody's going to care or remember it by Dragon Con. Like,
right.
It's going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, hey, remember a couple months ago when everybody was panicking?
Right.
Hey, you know what? Don't eat stuff like bats.
Dude,
Ace Ventura would never eat a bat.
The coronavirus.
The con crud is worse than the coronavirus.
It could be the corona. Here's the thing. A couple years ago.
Hey, you know what? Bring the coronavirus to Dragon Con and the con crud will just eradicate it.
Yeah.
Wow. Whoa. Going viral.
That's pretty cool.
I got nothing.
Canceling.
I hope not. I hope things don't get canceled. They did just push back the James Bond movie release from April till the fall. Coincidentally, that movie's called No Time to Die, which is pretty funny.
Okay.
Okay.
I was gonna say, like, that movie is not contagious. Why is it being canceled? People are going and contracting. I don't want to make light of something that's serious.
I think it's because there's usually like really big China openings.
Right.
Okay.
From what I've been reading, it's been tapering off a little bit in China, but is just now making its way to the United States. Yeah. So, wash your hands. That's what they're saying. The best defense is don't listen to anybody else that tells you otherwise. Just wash them. Just keep clean and don't let people cough in your mouth. Maybe.
Yeah, we all wear masks.
Don't eat bats.
And don't eat bats.
Yeah.
That's going to be our new shirt. Craig Adams asks.
Dude, anything that happens with bats is bad historically. Cujo, Batman. Don't do it.
Ace Ventura 2.
Yes.
Batman's bad?
Think about it. Think before you eat a bat.
All right. Who would you rather have as a neighbor, Mr. Rogers or the Klopeks? That's from The Burbs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to look that up. So I said Mr. Rogers because I'm not aware of the Klopeks.
I feel like Mr. Rogers would be a pretty like you wouldn't even know he was your neighbor other than he would knock on your door every day and say, "Hi, neighbor."
Yeah.
But
you know what? That seems annoying to me. I picked the Klopeks because that movie is very, very fun, and it's like a really quirky adventure that they go on trying to figure out if their neighbors are murderers, and it seems I would rather do that than have Mr. Rogers annoying me with puppets all the fucking time.
Dude, I like Mr. Rogers. I watched that documentary. I feel like I'd like to talk to him. Like he might be a good calming resource in my life.
He probably is, and I feel like when I was younger I liked him, but then when I watched that movie that came out recently with Tom Hanks in it, it just made me, I was like, well, this is the most boring thing I've ever seen, and Mr. Rogers just doesn't. I don't know. Like I think younger me was into it, but older me is like, hey, get the fuck out of my face with that shit.
Yeah, I watched Won't You Be My Neighbor, the documentary, literally secretly thinking, well, maybe there's some dirt on him, like he's a bad person, but he's like a really good human being. So.
He's a vegan. Yeah. He was a vegan or a vegetarian.
I wouldn't mind.
He was. Yeah. He was a vegetarian.
He was vegetarian.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Rob Sabal. If you didn't start the podcast, would you have started any other online content creation in place of it, or is the additional content a direct connection to the creation of the podcast? That's a good question.
It is, yeah.
I'd like to think like I've always had creative outlets of some sort, whether it be music or doing stand-up comedy or whatever. So the way that the world is right now, like in order to suffice those creative needs that you might have. A lot of that does happen online through whether it's, YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or podcasts or whatever. So I'd like to think that at some point I would have done something. Having said that, everything we do, whether it's Toy Fair coverage or little sketches and skits or the digital media stuff we've been doing with Dr. Pepper, it all originated with YHS. That's kind of the foundation of it.
Yeah. I think that it's definitely like furthered and created opportunities for me to express myself. I think that probably before we ever started, I always wanted to do like blog stuff and write things online, which I've gotten to do through YHS. So that's really cool. And yeah, filming stuff is it's something I've always enjoyed, doing creative little things. So when we came together, it made sense for us to do all this stuff.
Yeah. I probably would have launched because we tried there was a couple failed precursors to YHS before Jake was the glue. Okay.
Yeah.
Jake glued us together. Before that, there was nothing.
Yeah. Well, when you're starting with like pretty much zero background, other than the fact that I always wanted to be a radio DJ and I listened to radio DJs a lot.
At first, it was like, it'd be cool to do like a podcast on the happenings of the Ghostbusters community. And like 5 seconds later, I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So, anyways, but that's everything I just said was true. Yeah. Jake, what about you, man?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, like I would be producing like art because that's what I've always done anyway. And like maybe a little bit of music here and there, but nothing like all like basically personal stuff. Like I wouldn't be, I would never have been like, I want to start a podcast or a YouTube channel or this or that. That's all directly from having the podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it all started like we just wanted to talk about Ghostbusters and the movies we like.
Yeah.
So
when we first started, I was working as a production assistant, like on a TV show doing painting shit. And it was not nearly as satisfying as creating our own content. So I ended up
painting walls.
Yeah,
was
now
it as fun as this?
Yeah, no, I did. I painted camera hides for a hidden camera show that I can't talk about.
YHS, as fun as painting a wall.
Way more fun. And trust me, we're in the thick of doing a lot of creative stuff right now. And it's stressful, but it's fun and it's satisfying.
But having said all that, like to be completely honest, we could have never imagined that it would have grown to like where it is.
No.
So it's all very exciting.
It's because of listeners and us sitting down each week.
It's mostly me, I think.
Yeah, but
it's mostly
some of our opportunities have come from listeners.
It's mostly me and Rob
give
Sabal.
Shout outs.
That's
okay.
All right.
Rob, I think you should win a t-shirt. That was a good question.
Write that down.
Cool.
Write down, Rob, I think you should win a t-shirt, and later on I will pour over it and decide whether or not.
Then we'll think about it.
Then we'll think about it.
Things to think about.
Rob
Sabal.
Ryan Fenton asks, is the Ghostbusters video game canon? Smiley face. Also, will the opening of the new movie include an encounter with a ghost / paranormal activity like the other movies, or do you think they'll take a different direction and more of a slow build? Jake, tackle this one first.
Well, answer your first question is no. Answer to your second question, I think no. I think they're gonna take a different direction. I think it's gonna be a slow build. I think it's possible it could start off with some sort of flashback to some old, Ghostbustering, or maybe I don't know. It's just all. I don't think it's gonna start with like the traditional ghost encounter.
Right.
I'm thinking slow build too. I think I think it's going to be, knowing Jason Reitman, the way that he like seems to take his time and do really like special storytelling. I think it's going to be nothing like what we've seen. And that was one of my complaints with Answer the Call, was that it was like, oh, the structure's so similar to the original movie. We've got the ghost sighting and in the very beginning, and I don't like that. I want something different.
I think it's going to be a fake out. I think it's going to feel like it's supposed to be a ghost sighting. They're going to see like Finn Wolfhard jumping out, scaring Mechanic Ray.
Oh, yeah.
I just got mad that you said that. I'm like, that sounds very real.
Can you turn that? Can we turn these off?
Yeah. Got a lot of background noises.
What the fuck?
I don't.
It's me.
Okay.
I have to have it up because I'm reading the question.
What is that, though? It sounds like a Nintendo noise.
It's our messenger.
Is that what it always sounds like?
Somebody tell Ryan and Hal to shut up.
The fuck up.
Okay.
But I love you.
You can't just turn the volume off of your device that you're using?
Well, he was trying to do Hold on, now it's appropriate.
Okay, we're good. Thank you for that. All right.
That sounds like a dryer ending, like the dryer cycle ending.
Clothes are ready. Are you guys ready?
They went into long fart sound effect. Oh my God.
Yeah, I like how this is what...
Is this how we lose listeners?
This is what follows... I can't believe how far we've come.
Segue into long fart sound effect.
All right, here we go. Is the video game canon? Probably not. Like even if there's Easter eggs or teases, I have to exit off that. I'm done with that. I'm so sorry to our listeners.
You can read off mine.
I got it. Even if there's even if there's teases or anything related to the game, I think it's safe to say that, the new movie probably, the clues that we've got tell us that it's about Ivo Shandor in some respect. And obviously he was a main part of the game. And I doubt that they went back to consider the events of that game in writing the new script. So what was the second question?
Will the opening of the new movie include?
And I talked about that. Yeah.
Do you think they'll take a different direction?
Yeah, I do. I think it'll be a different direction for sure. What that ends up being, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. What's next, Ab?
Why did you decide to buy your house? This is, I think, specifically for Craig and I. Why did you decide to buy your house after a drive-by shooting? Tommy Cavanaugh.
Well, listen,
Jake, why did you decide to stay in a tattoo shop where a guy got hit by a car? That's your house.
I can answer that question very easily.
Yeah,
because it's fun to have.
Because I want to see more people get hit by cars.
Because it's fun. Yeah, good question. My reasoning is because I love our house and I love our weird little city.
We were already in the process of we were under contract when that happened,
and those people moved out.
It was very unfortunate, and it's not. I will say this: it's not indicative of where we live or the area we live in. It was a very random thing. But
also, I think like maybe. You say it was a very random thing. It was a random thing to happen, but I don't think it was just a random drive-by shooting. Like it was
a very random targeted drive-by shooting
towards those people
who are no longer there.
Right.
We've considered.
Yeah, they moved to the house next door. So
it's pretty cool.
It's safe. Jake comes over and he sleeps with his head in the street. That does not happen.
Doesn't happen.
I don't know. It sounded good.
No, I love our house. I love our front porch, and Okay,
next.
Such a place. Thank you for asking, Tommy. Next question from Jason Smith. Favorite movie soundtrack? Example, Batman Forever with the Seal and U2 songs. All right.
And favorite movie score.
And favorite movie score. Cool. I got mine. Who wants to go first?
My favorite all-time movie soundtrack is probably like Ghostbusters 2.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
It's got 3 or 4 songs that are regular rotation on all of my playlists. If you look at my Spotify playlist, it's like Bobby Brown On Our Own, White Noise, Glenn Frey, Flip City, White Noise. Mm-hmm. Favorite score? That's a great question. Probably the entire Back to the Future trilogy is my favorite score. All Alan right. Silvestri.
Yeah, I was going to say not John Williams, but all right. So my number one soundtrack is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. I've definitely listened to that more than any other soundtrack. And I know that those aren't songs written for the movie, but they remind me of scenes from the movie. And I literally had it in my car for like 2 or 3 years solid, just always on. And listening to it helps me chill and gets me through tough times. So I would say that's my favorite soundtrack. Although Moana is kind of on that list too. And then my favorite score, I would say Jurassic Park, because I feel like it's sacrilege to say anything else. But The Force Awakens might be, in my opinion, a more listened to, especially recently, score. I think it's beautiful, and I love the Jedi Steps, and I love Rey's theme. It always just makes me cry. So I'd probably say The Force Awakens is my favorite score.
All right. Jake?
Ghostbusters 2 is also my favorite album, but I figured that is like the easy answer, so I picked runner-up, which would be Godzilla, the album from 1998. It has that really great, weird Puff Daddy featuring Jimmy Page, Come With Me, and it has like a bunch of like all the bands that were big at that time, like the Wallflowers and Jamiroquai and like Rage Against the Machine and the Foo Fighters, like it's got a bunch of great weird songs on it. It's literally in the CD player in my car right now. Favorite score is Jurassic Park. That I think Jurassic Park is the best. I think all three of these picks for scores would be like in my top 10 if I was making a top 10, but Jurassic Park I think is
my Jurassic Park is probably my number 2 score of all time. Jaws probably number 3.
You mean number 4 because you picked 3 for your answer.
Well, it's like the same stuff the whole time.
It's not, it's the same themes, but it's not the same.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't you guys go take a long walk into Clayton Ravine? Sorry, Shonash Ravine. I like when Marty's like, all the kids at school know about Clayton Ravine because we all have a school teacher. We like to fall into the ravine. And it's like, you're 35 years old, Marty. We know you're not 17. That's my favorite part of Back to the Future. It's like the movie's about time travel and going back in time, doing whatever you want. But clearly Michael J. Fox is so old. I love it. All right.
That's fun.
I had fun saying all that.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Okay.
Next one, Matt Provençal. What's the one movie sequel you want to see happen but will never happen?
Ooh.
All right, hold on. Are we all going to say this on the count of 3?
Yeah, because we all know.
I kind of feel like it's
have
possible more than one of us have the same one.
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
2, 3. Back
what
to
about
the Future.
What? Wait, what did you say?
We all said the wrong. We all said 3 different things. What did you say?
Mine's What About Bob?
That's a good answer.
I said Twister.
You said Twister. I said Back to the Future. That's my standard.
Fuck, we all have really good answers.
You want there to be a sequel to Back to the Future?
Yeah, I like it.
Ew, that's literally one of our later questions, so I guess we can touch on that one.
No, I'll do it later. Okay. Tell me about what about Bob's
We
a great
talked about
answer.
a What About Bob sequel. I think it would be really funny to have. My idea would be Siggy needing a therapist. He ends up in Bob Wiley's office because Bob Wiley's has become a licensed certified therapist. And so Siggy goes and has to work through stuff with his dad. And I think that would be funny. I think that
what if Bob, Leo, and Siggy have to go on a cross country road trip for some reason? I'm
seeing that.
I would love to see that. Or I think it would also just be super funny if it's Leo Marvin's just hanging out one day and all of a sudden Bob is just there. And he's it's 30 years later or whatever. And Bob's just like, oh, hey, Dr. Martin. And he's like, he just comes back for no reason.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. Jake, you said Twister. We've talked extensively.
Twister, we've talked about this a lot. A Twister 2 would be amazing and it's impossible.
Let me change my answer though, because when he says a Twister that will never happen, that usually means that some of the main cast have passed away or something. So I think Twister's a good answer. What About Bob's never gonna. We can't even get a goddamn Richard Dreyfuss action figure, let alone a sequel to a movie with Bill Murray who he hates. God, I would have said Ghostbusters at one point, but that's happening. So I don't know.
You just said a Twister that would never happen instead of a movie that would never happen. And I like the idea of referring to all movies as just a Twister.
Hey, listen.
I had to say it.
There was serious tornadoes in Nashville this week.
Yeah, our condolences if you live there. Hope everything's good.
Philip Clark. This is where I get my news from group therapy. He lives in Nashville. 50 people died, and he's like, guys, Twister sequel, look. And it's just like, oh my God. So condolences. Hope everybody's doing okay.
Yeah, join group therapy.
Hey, little piece of news that I didn't know this was even in Nashville, but it's sad, but the jail that they filmed, the Green Mile, was destroyed by that tornado.
Oh, fuck.
That's insane.
Dang.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Sucks. All right. Moving on.
My turn. I'm still reading. Yeah. Brandon Shelton asks, let's say Hollywood comes knocking, wanting to make a YHS movie. What moment or situation that has occurred in the YHS history must be included in the film?
That time we were all in the car in the stoplight.
Oh my God. Yes.
And there was something happening in a car in front of us.
God,
did you just
Tessa Thompson and Kristen Stewart.
Their roles?
Tessa Thompson and Kristen Stewart. Yeah, I did. Of course I did. And only J.K. and Hal Clay know what we're talking about. And it's totally worth it.
We'll save that story for a bonus episode. That was a good one. I think the Linda Blair thing is pretty great.
Linda Blair.
The Linda
I
Blair
wrote down
incident.
Linda Blair thing. I think that if it's a YHS movie, we should have a flashback scene where all three of us do our first barge as kids. I think that would be a fun scene. And then as adults,
there's like a voiceover, and it's like, little did they know on this day.
Yeah, I'm basing all of this off of Half Baked and like the first time in the movie where they get high, and then like as adults, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I cast myself as a kid. It would be Caitlin Dever, or actually as a teenager. She's the girl from Booksmart.
Okay.
And then Emma Stone would play.
So you're casting?
Yeah, I'm already casting.
You're doing it all?
Yeah. Well, that's the next question. Richard T-Bone asked who plays who.
I honestly think
I didn't do any casting.
We all know what you're gonna say.
The Eagle from the Muppets. Isn't that
Sam
what it was?
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah. I know your answer, Jake.
Then who am I?
Well, I would try. Well, your answer sounds like a real answer. Like
Craig is Ewan McGregor. And Emma Stone.
This is not a real answer.
That's a real answer. He can pull off the intensity.
It's Daniel Day-Lewis as me doing random impressions of Daniel Day-Lewis.
It's so awesome.
Yes.
This is what it is. Yes. Daniel Day-Lewis, Emma Stone, and Ewan McGregor in a story 100 years in the making. These three individuals have no idea where
they're going for lunch.
Yes. You'll see all three of them individually having a panic attack in various corners of major U.S. cities.
I want. Here's the cast I want for the movie versions of us.
Okay.
I want us to be played by George Seinfeld and Elaine.
Oh,
I love it.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, "Who is George Seinfeld?"
George Seinfeld.
No. I like it all.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be good.
take that. I totally.
Okay. I was trying to think.
But the movie opens with the Twister ride, Ride It Out, replacing the Ghostbusters show at Universal Studios.
Honestly, the movie wouldn't even be funny. People would be like, the real YHS is just
steps.
The real it would just be 2 hour very serious conversations. Like as soon as we hit stop recording, it's we're very serious. We get very serious.
Dude, yeah, we
Yeah,
we're business. We
have
business
we're
cards.
Serious.
Yeah.
We have business
We
cards.
network. It's mostly networking.
All right, cool. Next up. What's the next unofficial podcast title? You guys already have Twister, Leprechaun, Child's Play. Also, what is your favorite podcast snack consumption? That is from Mark Gasorek. Fuck. I'm usually pretty good with last names. Sorry, buddy. Gasorek. There you go. I don't know. So we're the unofficial, unofficial number one Child's Play podcast, Twister podcast, Leprechaun. I don't know.
I already have my answer.
Is it Muppets?
Mine?
No,
mine's Smisky. I am angling myself to become a Smisky spokesperson and representative since going to Toy Fair.
Explain what that is. People don't know.
Smiskies are tiny creatures that hide in corners. They're a Japanese company. They're like blind box bags, and they're cute little figures that basically are in little adorable positions because
were those the little things that glow in the dark?
Yeah, they glow in the dark, and I put them on my bookshelves. And I looked at their website, and every Smisky has a detailed description of what it does, where it likes to be. And they're basically for your bathroom and for your spaces of your house because during the day people can get down and have dark thoughts. So having a Smisky to look at cheers you up. So it's kind of the same idea of having a pet or a cat. And I'm so for that, and I want to become the spokesperson for them, which gets to one of our questions later.
All right.
But I want to be the Smisky podcast, and I want them to make a Smisky of me with little headphones on.
Jake, anything on this one?
Well, he missed Congo.
We're already off. That's obvious.
He didn't say anything about Congo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would.
That's our.
I don't have I don't have a lined up answer. Maybe something like Critters. Keep the weird, silly horror movies going. Leprechaun, Child's Play, Critters.
I want to be the number one Crystal Head Vodka podcast. We interview Dan Aykroyd every week.
Where only one of us drinks it.
And Dan Aykroyd literally forgets what he said. Just says the same thing
every week. Same thing. Oh boy, well, we won the gold.
Wait, if we
Prodexo, and
we should start releasing a podcast that is just jumbled up Dan Aykroyd interviews, like all
we ask
in different ways. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool. April Fools, look out.
Cool.
Oh my God, we should do that.
Dude, that's a good. I'm writing that down.
Dan Aykroyd interview with YHS.
You just gave it away.
Right behind Rob Sabal's name, I'm gonna write Dan Aykroyd jumble episode.
Matt McCauley asks. Oh wait, Zach Myers asks. Hey Wayne, did you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when he put on a dress and played a girl bunny?
Yes.
I love that scene. Like Mike Myers is laughing so hard. He's like, no. Okay. Why do you, Matt McCauley asks, why do you think Richard Dreyfuss refused his likeness to be used in the NECA Jaws line?
Because he's like
a cranky
he's unhappy.
An asshole.
Yeah,
he's
and
an asshole. That's why.
I wrote down because he's unhappy and self-destructive, and he doesn't like. Why wouldn't you?
My likeness for an action figure. I want to talk to you about a little thing called civics. The children of this country.
I don't know. I could see it being some weird, long, drawn out answer, but he's just cranky. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got nothing to say. It's a bummer. We finally get Jaws figures, and he's the one that I thought was be a guarantee.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a real bummer.
What would Robert Shaw?
He's someone that we love so much. It's part of so many things that we love.
What would Robert Shaw have to say about Richard Dreyfuss?
Yeah.
I feel like Robert Shaw.
You
would have
have your hand
something
on
to
my
say.
shoulder, like I'm gonna do the impression.
No, I'm trying to stop you from talking.
Oh, okay.
What?
But this is when I talk the most. When
Right.
I'm told not to.
What I'm trying to. Yeah. What would he say?
Yeah, hey, Hooper, you can't even do 5 push-ups, can't even give your likeness rights, huh? Toys don't work underwater, can't catch a shark.
I can't take this. He's abusive, and I do not have to. Okay.
He doesn't want anybody to see his city hands.
Richard, put your face on the figure now. You hurt your father. See, I get to do one too. I get very competitive. Are we still doing it?
What happened?
I'm just thinking about Randy.
Craig's
I'm thinking about Randy from NECA having to
Craig
convince.
looking at his phone.
No,
Yes.
I'm thinking. All right, next.
I can do the next one.
Do it.
Tony just Tony
Lewandowski.
Most beautiful NECA toy / toys released to date.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Greta Gremlin was the most
It's not
stunning.
out. It's not out. Released today.
Oh, released?
There you go. Where's your buzzer now?
Fuck. Hold on. I deserve this.
I told you, Abby can't read.
I can. Don't you spread that.
My answer would be the spider gremlin. That thing's amazing. I was gonna say, like, part of me was like, almost anything they've done Ninja Turtle wise so far has been pretty amazing, but that spider gremlin is perfect.
Yeah, the spider gremlin, all the gremlins they do are great.
Yeah.
I think personally, this is very specific. The TMNT movie one Leonardo, either the tall one or the 7-inch one, is one of the greatest. Yep. It's an incredible, like, all the likenesses are great, but that one specifically is money.
Mm-hmm. Money.
It's funny because, like, Leonardo is definitely my least favorite Ninja Turtle. Yes, Master Splinter. I love that. When they make, oh God, I love it. Watch that shit tonight. Okay. I get pumped. I love Ninja Turtles. 1990. It's one of my faves. All right. What's something you wanted to do or see in New York but did not get the chance? I wanted to go to the Ghostbusters 2 museum location, which is actually it was an art museum, and now I believe it was something. It's like a national Native American museum now, but it's way out of the way. It's up, I think, like north of the Bronx or whatever, and we just couldn't get to it. But that's such a cool, iconic location, especially for us. That's definitely something I wanted to do. We'll do next time.
Yeah. Definitely. I wanted to see Jane's Carousel, which is in Brooklyn. It's like pieced together from Iodora Park, which was a park in Ohio that my parents grew up and used to go to on the actual carousel that like was moved to Brooklyn. So I really wanted to go see it, and it's in a really cool like glass structure. So when we go back, I definitely want to go.
I wanted to eat some pizza.
Oh yeah.
Did you not eat any pizza?
You didn't get
No.
Ooh, can
never-
I eat pizza
never
for
got
dinner?
pizza.
Can I eat pizza for
You
dinner?
can do, yeah. You can eat whatever you want.
Tight. We got the house cleaned today.
Yeah, it's a pretty big
nice.
deal.
We literally had a maid come over.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I had to
It-
leave. It makes me uncomfortable.
Abby was so mad.
I'm not.
Because of that episode of Seinfeld.
No.
They didn't steal anything. It was great. They were so nice. All right, next up, Zach Myers. Damn it, Zach.
Zach.
Yeah, another quote question.
Well, let me just do it. Woo, 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 woo. That's the siren noise in Gotham City. Is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City? Is he on the police payroll? And if so, what's he pulling down? After taxes. Knox. That's his name. He says that. All right, next up.
Cool. That was good.
That was pretty good. That was good. Hey, Eckhart. All right. Dan Pratt asks, the original Ghostbusters cast are confirmed for Afterlife. Would you rather see old Ghostbusters 2020 or Irishman-style de-aged flashback to the 80s? I want to see some old-ass Ghostbusters.
Me too. I don't want to see Irishman style anything ever in my life. I would like to see some flashbacks, but only if it's like stuff that they, they've talked a couple times about finding some old footage or some dailies or something. And I think if they found something that makes sense to use, I would like to see that, but I don't want to see de-aged anything.
No, I said old-aged Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
please.
I want to see old Ghostbusters
Like
for as
fine
long as
wine.
they will put them on screen.
Yeah.
Fine wine or leather, neither of which Jake or I partake in. Yeah, I want to see him old. I don't want to see like weird blue eyes and like, yeah, I don't need that shit.
That's Frank Sinatra's other nickname. Not old blue eyes. Weird blue eyes.
Weird, unnaturally blue eyes.
How do you feel about the Brian Underwood? How do you feel about the possible Back to the Future reboot starring Tom Holland? And what franchises movies never need a reboot? Also, what franchises movies desperately need a reboot or a reimagining? The Tom Holland thing, I feel like it's all made up. It's not a real thing. It's not going to happen. I do think he's great, and he does remind me of Michael J. Fox, but it is what it is. Like I don't know.
I don't need it.
But as far as what franchises or movies desperately need a reboot or reimagining, that's a good question. Desperately. Huh.
Well, my answer was none. I can maybe think of like, I don't know. I have no good answer for this. Like there may be some movies that are based on books that I've read, and maybe the movies aren't great, but I would never say like they desperately need to make another Salem's Lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I think for this is a great question. I think about franchises that started off strong and then like continued to go on for a long time, and like their most recent efforts were not great, like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Maybe something like Nightmare on Elm Street, maybe Ninja Turtles. Maybe Ninja Turtles, but instead of, rebooting or imagining, it can just be like rebooting it back to its like original.
Yeah.
Like if they made, I guess you could kind of use this as also that sequel question. It would be amazing if they made a sequel to the first two Ninja Turtles and used costumes that looked
and
like
it was like rated R, like Deadpool style, like with language. That would be tight.
That would be funny.
I'd be down for that.
I want to hear.
I said Terminator, lol, because I don't want to see any more Terminator movies. But I think that TMNT is a really good idea, and I'd like to see that.
And Brian, that's a great question, and we shouldn't have said that the Tom Holland thing is quote unquote fake. A lot of people have liked the idea of Tom Holland playing like Marty McFly, and it kind of every couple months somebody drums it up, and then there was like that whole deep fake thing. So I get why people are talking about it, but
it's not. But I think by fake you meant it's not being considered by any
right.
Like it's not like Bob Gale has said, hey, as long as I'm alive, no.
Right.
So I don't think. Yeah. I see where people are getting it from, and I can see him playing that role as well. But
was that real? That Tom
Holland?
There was that interview, and Tom Holland himself said there's been talk of that. Like he's like weird.
Holland's a fucking kid
he's a child.
Can't keep his mouth shut about anything.
He doesn't even know what he's never even seen Back to the Future. All right. Tom Holland's a fucking child.
He's a fucking child. I want to hear Raphael call Leonardo a dickhead.
Yeah.
Hey, Leo.
What, Raphael?
You're a dickhead.
Do we want to see aged turtles or like still teenagers?
I don't want 40-year-old mutant ninja
It's
turtles.
called Teenage Mutant Ninja
You want to see OK Boomer turtles?
Yeah, it's gonna be their kids.
Here's the thing though. Turtles live for like over 100 years.
So they are still teenagers.
So 30 years old, you could still call it a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
I love that.
They play younger. Cool.
Daniel Peckham asks, God, we might not get through all these. Let's start going rapid fire.
Yeah.
Now that the Back to the Future, Ace Ventura, Bill and Ted cartoons are finally getting figures, what toyless cartoon series would you want to finally get a line of figures? Even if McDonald's or Burger King still did stuff.
I didn't have an answer for this one because I feel like there's toys for everything.
Yeah,
I did. I said Bob's Burgers.
There's Bob's Burgers.
No, there's not like an actual action figure set, like with a play set. You got a lot of people that have Bendums, but let's not talk about Bendums. Even though we said we would to the guy.
I don't know. I think most cartoons have gotten stuff.
Yeah.
Racking my brain.
They did all the like Nicktoons things, which is what I would have said, but
yeah, I just couldn't think of anything.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all out there.
Cool.
Is there going to be another YHS Live at Dragon Con? So you're saying the Supernatural is your exclusive province? From Jeff Wisnot. Hopefully, we're working on it. I would say probably, but things could change, but we definitely want to do that. Come out to Dragon Con. Mm-hmm. If it's not canceled because of the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. Edward Lloyd Sturtevant. Let me try that again. Edward Lloyd Sturtevant wants to know, who is the best Joker? Spirit or self-made proton pack? Left Twix or right Twix?
That's 3 questions. Answer them rapid fire. Jack Nicholson, Carnivorous Creations, and Nestle Crunch Bar.
All
right. Jack Nicholson, self-made proton pack, and no Twix.
I don't eat Twix either, not for any other reason other than I just don't like them. If I were to eat a Twix, I feel like I would just probably bite into the whole thing like an animal.
Yeah.
Like an asshole.
I didn't know there was a difference. I thought it was just...
Look at that asshole over there.
Yeah.
Biting into that Twix like he don't have a care in the world with his spirit-made proton packer. What are these questions? Best Joker? Favorite Joker? Best Joker? This is so hard because Jared Leto is just so good. Jack Nicholson will always have an absolute nostalgic tie to my heart. I could watch that performance all day long. So I'll say Jack Nicholson, although I do really love Heath Ledger. And that other new one that no one wants to talk about but me. And then Emil Shear wants to know, do you want a puffy shirt? I do want a puffy shirt.
I'll take one.
Hey, Abby, ask me why I want a puffy shirt.
Craig, why do you want a puffy shirt?
Because I want to be the first pirate.
Yeah.
I
want a puffy shirt
This
too.
is the new look for the 90s. You guys want puffy shirts?
Yeah.
Should we all wear them for a photo shoot?
Oh my God, yes.
All right.
That's a really good idea. Up next,
Brian Underwood says, world ends tomorrow and new world begins. What 5 movies and 5 books would you put in a time capsule to show the new world, and how and who?
Whoa, I missed this question.
All right.
5
books, 5 movies to show the new world. This is interesting because you could really set the standard for what the world turns into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you could say, well, if I was going to give 5 films to the new world, it would be The Wizard of Oz, Casablanca, Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind, and Joker.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You gotta put a curveball in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leprechaun 1, Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3, Leprechaun 4, and the 5th Leprechaun, which I hope exists.
It's in the hood.
Yeah.
I did come up with 5 movies, but 4 of those movies are fairly standard. You could probably answer it for me. Jaws, Jurassic Park, There Will Be Blood, The Shining. I think those are 4 of the greatest movies ever made. But for the 5th movie, I did put a curveball in there because if the world's ending and the new world is starting, I want them to see Jurassic Park, and I want them to see There Will Be Blood and some of these like best acting performances and all this like great wonder of cinema. But I also want them to see that somebody made The Greasy Strangler because it's the weirdest, grossest,
Oh God.
I thought
stupid movie that I've ever seen. And when I watched that, I've seen that movie twice. And it's the only movie that I've ever watched where I literally multiple times thought that I was going to throw up. But it's also one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. And I can't understand how or why it was made. But if the world was ending and I had to show a new world, I would be like, hey, the human race produced this.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
I thought you were going to say like Bowling for Columbine.
I was going to say Phantom Menace, obviously. No, maybe Terminator 2. That's cool.
Okay.
It's at a pretty
hey, they open the lockbox expecting 5 movies and 5 books, and it's just a VHS copy of Terminator 2. That's all they get.
That's what Abby wanted you to have.
Nobody's named any books.
Sarah Connor.
But I could do 5 books because I would have to really think about that hard because I've been almost exclusively reading Stephen King for the last like 4 years. Mm-hmm. So like I was like I wouldn't want to put just 5 Stephen King books in there, but I would have to like sit around and think about all the past books I've read before I really picked 5 books.
It's a new world. You want them to figure things out. There's only 5 books you could possibly leave. Ready for this? Okay. 1, the Bible. 2, the Quran. 3, the Torah. 4, the Book of Mormon. And 5, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay.
Stop.
What? How are they going to know what religion to be?
Those are all the same books.
Yeah.
Book of Mormon really is. All right. This was fun. Lee FW. Vince McMahon becomes president. I feel like that's just something that'll actually happen. Declares there can only be 1 host per podcast. All disputes now settled with wrestling. Who would you all pick as your tag team partners?
Just from anything?
I don't understand this question.
I don't either. Are we supposed to pick a wrestler here? Or
I said someone needs to explain this to me. That's
Lee,
literally what I said. I need someone to explain this to me.
We'll take that on next week. Lee,
here. This is the one question
Ronda
where
Rousey.
Lee has to give us a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lee said Rob Sabal a T-shirt. I don't get it, but my answer is Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, mine's Ronda Rousey.
JD Raymer says, what do you think the running time of GB Afterlife will be? What do you hope it will be? Less than 90, 90 to 120, or more than 120 minutes?
I'm guessing 90 to 120.
Yeah. First Ghostbusters is what? 100?
It's. I think it's a little under 2 hours.
It's a little under 2. It's like an hour 45. I bet this is going to clock right in a little bit less than 2 hours. That's my guess.
Yeah. It would be great if it was more than 120.
I hope it's 10 hours long.
Yeah.
I hope it's like a Netflix series. I went in the theater for like 2 weeks. Matt Provençal, pop quiz hot shot. There's a bomb in a bus, and if it goes above 50, the bomb is armed. If it goes below, God, this is just from Speed. I thought a question was going to be in there. I do love Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, my answer was take the red pill.
That was good.
Thank you. I put a few zingers in here.
Josh Bellin, are there any shows that are currently running on Broadway or off Broadway that you didn't get to see?
Book of Mormon, Little Shop. Yeah.
But want to see
and Jagged Little Pill at certain points.
Yes. There's like 8 minutes of Jagged Little Pill I need to rewatch.
That. Thank you.
I don't know. I want to see Book of Mormon live.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, I'd like to see Book of Mormon, and I would like to see the new version of Little Shop, even though it's probably pretty similar to the old version.
Yeah, it'd be cool though.
Matt Provençal, which movie belongs in the Library of Congress? Last Action Hero or Super Mario Brothers?
Super Mario
Brothers as a warning.
Last Action Hero sucks. Yeah, it's so overrated.
Yeah, and for the future of movie making and the future of the future.
God, Super Mario Brothers should have been one of the 5 movies we gave the new world.
I thought about that movie so much when we were in New York.
Hey,
I have really good associations with it.
Can you imagine if we gave the new world 5? So like if it's a new world, that means they don't have video games either. So if the new world, if the new world has only seen the Super Mario Brothers movie, and then they start making the games based on the movie.
No, they have only seen the movie, and then
I want to travel to that timeline.
And then they gain access to the first Mario Brothers game. Like, this is what you based on. How did you get this from that?
That's pretty cool.
What are the? Oh, this is such a good question. Sam Meredith, love that guy. You know he lives in a United Kingdom. Okay.
He lives in a unit.
He does.
In the Mushroom King? A Mushroom King?
He lives in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, we met him at FanFest.
What are the best performances in movies by wrestlers? Now, that's a good question.
Yeah, I feel like I should go first because I only have one answer and you guys may have more.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan and Gremlins 2.
Okay.
Hey, hold on. How is that Abby's answer? How is that your answer and not Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Oh, Dave Bautista. There was another question about him later on. Why didn't I think of that? I was just like, skip. Fuck. Oh my God, Dave Bautista, 100%.
I would say Bautista's performance in the second Guardians is probably better.
No, I think the first one's better.
All right. Jake, do you have an answer on this one?
I wrote down a couple. I think Andre the Giant and the Princess Bride is a pretty fun performance. But I think as a serious answer, Roddy Piper and They Live. That movie is legitimately good. It's a really, really great, fun John Carpenter sci-fi, and he's great in it.
Yeah, I'm trying to rack my brain. I mean, so traditionally wrestlers have not done too well as actors.
Yeah.
Obviously, The Rock has become one of the biggest actors in the world, and he's great at what he does. But like when we're talking about,
but it's not acting.
It's something.
It's like not real. Yeah, it's like it's a specific thing that he's doing, and he is great. But I would not use any of his performances. Macho Man and Spider-Man.
Yeah, Macho Man, Randy Savage, and Spider-Man. The cast of Ready to Rumble. I don't know. I might have to. Dave Bautista's probably the actual legit answer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know.
There's not a whole lot of like legitimate answers.
Exactly.
There's a lot of like Hulk Hogan was funny in this,
right?
Or this movie's really silly and it's cool, but there are maybe 4 or 5 like legitimate acting performances by wrestlers, and
I'm gonna give
we just talk about 2
future answer because James Gunn has come out and said that John Cena is going to surprise everybody in the world with his performance in Suicide Squad. So I'm going to say John Cena and Suicide Squad.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
All right, cool. Here's hoping.
Okay, here we go. That was a great question, Sam. Also, Mr. Nanny, Suburban Commando. Jason Grosky says, do you think the recent freakouts on the coronavirus would have affected y'all a week ago at Toy Fair? Maybe. Toy Fair might have been canceled a week. Oh, I would have been so mad. I would have been really upset.
Yeah, I said no, we all wear masks.
Okay.
Metaphorically speaking.
we talked about this earlier. We really hope
Thank you for laughing at that, Jake. That's my other zinger.
We all really hope everything gets cleared up and doesn't become
for sure
thing.
Yeah, I'm grateful that it didn't affect us.
If we don't get to go to like San Diego Comic Con or any of these other cool things, I'll be so mad. I'll eat 2 pizzas. He also asked, what's the most exciting thing about being a homeowner? And is the toy room bigger than the old one? We bought the house we live in. But I got some new shelves. I really haven't I'll talk about it more next week, but
most exciting thing is that we don't have to move.
Yeah, there you go. That is true.
That's true.
Okay, he asked 3 questions in a row. It's a trilogy. Money, no object. What one item would you buy? House, car, toy, etc. Money's not an object? I don't know.
This answer for me is similar to my money, no object Dragon Con thing, except I would have a screen-used Godzilla costume.
There you go.
Got it. I said I'd buy all of Ripley's outfit from Aliens, including the shoes.
It's just used the same thing.
Or also, and a life-size Splatoon gun, which I saw at the Nintendo shop in New York. And I'd like a life-size Mario go-kart so I can ride on the street.
There you go.
Cool.
There's so many things I want. Like, I don't know, prototype Ecto-Glowcopter with the box, any real Ghostbusters prototypes. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. None of it's going to happen, but I'm excited. All right. Shane Patrick asks, I have a ton of loose figures that I love, but I get bored of the displays. Have you guys ever thought of setting up dynamic dioramas or something like that, like buildings of streets and forests and zip lines and all that jazz? It's a fantasy, but I'm lazy. I'm lazy as well.
Yeah, but that sounds fun. That sounds like something that maybe later on in life, like kind of like recreating I'm thinking in Beetlejuice, like the little city up in the attic.
Yeah.
Maybe later on.
Some collectors do. I'm not like this. I like to get a display, get it on the shelf and let that be the display. But there are collectors who do like setting up really intricate dioramas and they change it out often. It's really all personal preference. If you have the time and the resources of the room to do it, I think it's really amazing. Just not something I've done so far.
There's a lot of people like in the Godzilla collecting world who make dioramas and stuff like that. It's really easy to buy. You can go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and they have like model making stuff and, you know, small trees and stuff like that. And a lot of it is really easy to get in the scale of like the monsters. And it's like one of the things they do at G-Fest every year is they have a room where they just show off all the like dioramas and stuff that people make.
That's cool.
And it looks really cool. And I have thought about it, but it takes up so much more space to do that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Ryan Dole, if you had creative control over one toy line, which one would you choose and what would you do to make them stand out? That's a good question.
Yeah.
My answer is Ghostbusters. Like, I think Hasbro's doing a great job and they're going to do a great job. But if they offered me the job, I'd be like, I'll do it. I'll take over.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do. Here's what I would do. Actually, I do know what I would do. I would continue the Kenner Real Ghostbusters line with new figures. That's what I would do. I would say, this is a new series of Kenner Real Ghostbusters. This is a continuation of the series that ended in 1990. And I would do new versions of the guys, new ghosts, new play sets.
New versions based on unproduced ones or
just whatever. Just stuff from the animated series we never saw. I would do Kenner Extreme Ghostbusters figures. I would do Kenner movie suit figures. Ghostbusters 2 slime blower figures, more Janines, more Lewises. I do a Walter Peck, all sorts of stuff. But that's if I had control. I don't. I'm waiting on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was a hard question for me too, because I was thinking about it and I was like, all my big franchises are kind of like getting big toy lines right now. And I couldn't think of anything to really like make it. I was like, you know, there's a giant Jurassic Park, you know, toy line happening right now. There is a big Ghostbusters toy line. There is Ninja Turtle. Like everything I really like is happening. So I was like, I don't know what I would do. What would I do to make it better? I don't know. Like maybe steal away whoever is doing all the sculpting for NECA, because I feel like NECA has some sort of wizard working for them or something, because it feels like NECA's sculpts are able to be so much more accurate than anybody else.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot last week in detail, just how NECA really seems to be far and away doing much more accurate facial features and just everything all around.
How is that possible? I don't know if it's because like NECA is a smaller company and they're able to focus more resources and time and money on specific, you know, sculptors and face likeness, or if like the bigger companies are like, you know, make it sort of look like Dana. Or I don't understand.
Right.
What is happening.
I was at Target and they've got like the McFarlane Stranger Things figures. I was looking at the 11 figure.
Mm-hmm.
It's straight up bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they did the figure, like time to do the face, and they were like, let's just not. It's just not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be if I could change something about current toy line, it would be that. It would be having sculpts that equal NECA's.
Cool. I'd take over Smisky and I would be their spokesperson. And I feel like me doing unboxings for them, I feel like I really understand like their demographic and what their message is. And
you're going to have fun in Japan with all these Smiskies.
That's another reason. Because so we can take our trip to Japan and go to their headquarters. If we get to go.
Dude, my company put out a travel ban on all employees.
Legit.
To, like most countries. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
Jake, something similar happened with Jake's company. A guy got hit by a car. Hey, you know what happened? The guy got hit, went flying down the road. Cut to Jake. I didn't even see it. Oh my God. Zach Crago, other than what you guys have already talked about, NECA booth, Hasbro, GB, etc., what other announcements from Toy Fair are you excited about? I don't know. I covered all the stuff that I really wanted to cover last week. I think I'm really interested to see what happens at Playmates with the future of Ninja Turtles. Mm-hmm. I did read online the other day that they are going to start focusing on the classic stuff. I wonder if they're going to try to reboot the original animated Ninja Turtle series and somehow bring that back. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
But that's my answer. Anything from you guys?
Yeah, I'm actually looking through my photos to find an image of this. There's a game we saw at Toy Fair called Fart Buster, which I ended up playing for like a minute with a guy who was very friendly with me.
This is like the weirdest version of 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah. Well, no, there really isn't any announcements other than the fact that apparently like bathroom humor and stuff was really big last year. And the Fartbuster game seems to be kind of like fading out.
People don't like it.
No one was interested. That's why the guy was very aggressive. He's like, please play my fart game.
Tony.
Please play
Please make him fart.
Please. He hasn't farted all day. Tony.
I'm so hungry, sir.
Tony Lewandowski. If Ghostbusters, I know this. See, this is an inside joke. I'm just going to read it, but then I'll explain to you. If Ghostbusters 3 was here, so if Ghostbusters 3 was released 10 years ago, the 2016 movie never happened. How big is Batista's dick? Listen, this is if you don't listen to the Something to Wrestle podcast with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson, this is an ongoing joke where people ask how big Batista's dick is.
Oh, okay.
And then Conrad will be like, "I love you for that."
Cool.
I imagine it's probably huge.
I didn't get to check.
I bet it's little.
I got a photo op with him. It was a great.
He's got
picture.
a tiny dick.
Right,
you think so?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
He's hooked on the feeling.
Steroids. I think
that's what I was
going
to say, but you know.
All right, guys, we're getting to the tail end here. Matt Sanders.
His heart is so big and so full, and that's what matters.
Matt Sanders of the Ghostbusters containment unit collects spores, molds, and fungus autograph collecting group. Great guys. Matt Sanders, love him. Matt and Tom Henry. If you could
good question,
pick any celebrity, I gotta give a little plug ski. If you could pick any celebrity alive or deceased to meet at a con, who would you pick?
I wonder if Jake and I have the. No, we probably don't. But there's a chance.
Hulk Hogan from Gremlins 2.
Should we all say him at the same time?
No, I don't have like a solid answer for this one.
Oh.
I mean, I figured I have like a couple. There's lots of celebrities I would like to meet, but if I had to pick one, it would be really hard. I think if you're going to say it could also be someone who died, I feel like not picking Harold Ramis would be dumb, because it's like, if you got that chance, why not pick somebody who's passed away? So,
right.
Okay, so I'm going to say, if it's deceased, Harold Ramis. Living, it's a toss-up between, the number one thing I wrote down was Stephen King, because I think that would be a really awesome.
That's another one.
Just overall, like, he seems like a very cool person to hang out with. But then Bill Murray, I guess, would be on the list too. So, but I think Stephen King is who I would legitimately be internally freaking out the most over, and probably benefit the most from having a conversation with.
Yeah. I'd really love to meet Sam Neill.
Yeah, that'd be great. Cool. Yeah, I don't. Harold Ramis obviously would have been incredible. I'm really bummed that I never got everybody who met Carrie Fisher seemed to have a good experience and a good story to tell. So.
I'd actually throw Gilda Radner on my list as well.
Yeah.
She's always been a big inspiration of mine, and I think we'd get along.
Dan Aykroyd. I just love being around him.
I feel like we have opportunities to be around him,
always,
so I wouldn't pick him.
He's still my answer. Zach Crago, who's that guy in Ghost Heads who looks like Dan Aykroyd? That's pretty funny. Peter Mosen. That's his name.
That's him.
Stephanie Sett. How did you all meet? Was Ghostbusters the first fandom you bonded over? Good question. Yeah, we all met because of DragonCon, Georgia Ghostbusters, PKE Surge. Ghostbusters was the first fandom we bonded over. Twister is what sealed the deal.
There was some Jurassic Park stuff.
Jurassic Park is kind of Jurassic Park is what we met through Ghostbuster stuff, but we didn't really start talking until Jurassic Park, because that was how, Craig, you had messaged me personally to be like, hey, I got one of those Jurassic Park things if you want it. And then we became friends.
There we go. Jake sent us a care package. I was like, this guy we barely know just gave us things.
Yeah.
I couldn't relate. I was like, what is he thinking? Yeah. What an idiot.
And now we send care packages and get care packages from all of our friends.
I've never sent Jake a care package, but I want to.
I mean,
you haven't sent me one, but there have been times where I come over your house and like, here's a bag of shit I bought you.
Yeah, here's a bag of things.
Bag of stuff.
Last question from Facebook. And by the way, these were great questions. Thanks for everybody. We know we did this kind of last minute. Christopher Dilworth, if the tornado from Twister hit your house, it's bad. This is just not a great week for tornadoes.
It's a good question, though. It's a good question. Thing to end the
so at the fictional
AMA on.
Yeah.
You can only fit one small backpack of toys and collectibles before getting to cover. What would make it into the bag? Don't say cats.
We can say if the monster from Cloverfield destroyed your house. How about that?
Sure.
There you go.
Okay.
What would you put into your small bag?
You got one small backpack. What toys and collectibles could you put in?
Okay.
Who's going first?
I'll go first. First of all, I don't like that he said a small backpack. That makes me angry. The first thing I would think about is my Jaws barrel or my Jaws book that has all the signatures in it. Those two things would probably be the first things to cross my mind.
All right.
So you got to get a large backpack.
My answer is going to also be a plug. That's how I roll. I would pick my Egon's Lab Kenner Prototype Custom from BAM Toy Company, where you can see my complete review at Yes Have Some's Facebook page and Yes Have Some on YouTube. In all actuality, it's incredible, and those guys absolutely knocked out of the park. So I love that. If I only had to save a couple, you can fit a lot of RGB figures in a small bag. You can probably stuff 50 of them in there.
That's true, yeah.
I'd probably just save a bunch of those. My Ecto 1A with the box.
Yeah.
I'm like wheeling a display case down the street.
Yeah. I see that.
I'm like carrying my Jurassic Park compound center.
His barrel and his
Someone's
compound.
like, you're like eating French fries. I couldn't fit it in my bag. I was carrying it. I didn't say I couldn't carry anything. Oh, these fries are great. Y'all have any vegan pizzas? All right. Cool. So that's all of our group therapy questions.
No, I didn't answer it.
Sorry.
And I'm not a corporate shill, so I'm going to say mine from the heart. My copy of It that Jake gave me. My copy. Yeah. Oh, it's true. I love that. My copy of Carrie as well. Those are the two books I'd take. All of my cats would make it into my bag for sure. My Amy doll from Congo. And my Riddler costume, it would fold up easily. My framed picture of Craig, Julia, my friend Catherine, and Ric Flair and I from Dragon Con. I would want that with me.
What a weird sentence.
And my Zoya costume, because I could just kind of roll it up and there's very special memories attached to
the
that.
house cleaner. Oh my God. So that photo op where I'm dressed as the referee with the three cosplay ladies as Glow. The house cleaner today was like, you know the people from Glow?
Oh yeah, that was me.
I was like, no,
that's my wife.
Right
I came
there.
out, I was like, hi, that's me.
So there.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Instagram. 5 or 6 more questions. This has been really fun.
Okay. I don't know these questions.
We've gotten this one a lot, but we'll still do it. From Nox. This is like, I don't know how to. NOXQSEZ93. What's your holy grail toy you would like to own? I mentioned it earlier. Any of the real Ghostbusters prototypes, the Ecto Glowcopter or the fire truck, or the original prototype Egon's Lab. Even though I have the new Egon's Lab from BAM Toy Company, which you can see on the Yes Have Some Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's my answer. Do you guys have anything off the top of your head, or should I?
I think currently, if I put more thought in it, I'd probably come up with something different. But currently, it is the Haru Nakajima actor Godzilla toy that I have mentioned on the last 2 years Christmas episodes.
Wait, aren't you just gonna buy that soon though?
Yeah, these episodes just lead to us. I was looking up because I saw a really cool Splatoon gun at the Nintendo store, which I mentioned earlier. And now that I searched that, they have like cheaper versions of like actual Splatoon water guns. And this is just going to lead to me buying things.
I love it.
Which is great. Yeah,
that's the whole goal. Yeah, I was trying to think if there's any, like, I'm also a big Star Wars collector, but really, like, I don't get into like the Holy Grail territory with that kind of stuff. Like, I don't need a Minton card early release, Star Wars figures or anything like that. Yeah, I might come up with some more answers. I might have to ponder that one a little bit. Yeah. DSHE.
Roland?
D-Sheaf.
No, not Roland.
DSHE. Yes, the prototype.
The Garrett figure from
Extreme Ghostbusters.
Extreme Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Have any of the crew started to collect a line and give up only after buying a few? Oh, this is a Craig question.
Powerpuff Girls.
Oh yeah, do it.
R.I.P. I mean, I got into it, but like the new show didn't really stick with me, and I guess I didn't. The display ability wasn't really as much there. They ended up getting tucked away, and I just kind of fell off.
This is how I am always with wrestling figures. I'm like, I'm going to collect old school LJN figures. And I'll get like 2, and then I'm like, I don't have the energy. It's too expensive. It's too much. Like, everybody knows my Power Rangers story. I'm still collecting Power Rangers. I've definitely slowed down. Like I was going hardcore there for like 2 months, but kind of being picky and choosy. My main focuses right now are Ghostbusters and Star Wars, though. Jake, did you have an answer to that?
No, not really. Like, I tend to not care if I'm collecting the full line anyway. If I say, okay, now I'm gonna get this whole line, then I'll just get it, and I might not get it like quickly. Like there's still a couple things I need for the Beetlejuice line, but I'm not just giving up. I'm just taking my time.
About 2 months ago, I said I'm gonna start hardcore collecting Kenner and Toy Biz Batman, and I got like 5 figures, and I haven't got anything since. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Priorities.
Underscore Nasty Cat 4 says, with a lot of weird spacing, more of these magnificent stories. Yellow heart purr. So I'd say a little bit to a lot of it.
Yeah, my answer is yes.
Okay.
Wait, what? Okay.
It was a fake account.
It's a fake account. Holy shit. Stellar 2. Anyone have public sex at Toy Fair?
Not that we saw. That's more of a Dragon Con thing.
Dude, Instagram's weird. 5 worst movies of the decade from Oriel Gotch Vanderlut. We're not gonna be able to tackle that right now, but let's pin
Aquaman.
that. Abby's ready to answer.
Terminator Dark Fate.
But we'll put more fate. What if we'll tackle that. That'll be an episode.
That is a question that deserves an episode.
Right.
Yeah.
But he also asked, why do people care about hyper articulated figures? Never understood the appeal for collectors.
Well, a lot of us have like OCD and want things to be perfect.
I kind of agree with that. Like, it's not, to me, the likeness of a figure is much more important than the accessories or the points of articulation. Like, that's just my opinion.
I agree with that. I think the articulation, the only times that I prefer something to have like more articulation is if it is something that you would usually, like, I would say like the Ninja Turtles. I would want more articulation in Ninja Turtles because they're fucking doing ninja shit.
Right.
And maybe you want to pose them that way. But regular figures like the Ghostbuster toy, I don't care if that stuff's like, I just want them to stand up.
Simon.priv5. Why don't you guys like memes?
Well, it's not all memes. It's just memes. If it's a meme that we've seen, we probably don't need to see it again.
Because memes are all over the place. Everybody's
it's kind of the lowest form of
there's hubs.
Everybody's sense of what's funny is different, and it's just like a big meme on a page just clogs a page up, and it's a little annoying. And then you get people sharing the same ones over and over.
Yeah,
and it's like,
I feel like I
sometimes there are funny memes, but
we like to promote thoughtful discussion over memes.
Keep it real.
I love that people do this all the time. They're like, I know we're not supposed to post memes, but I think you guys are gonna like this one. And it's always like, then I like it even less. Toysaurus Games, this is a great Instagram account, toy_source_games. He makes all the little mini boxes that we got.
Oh, I love
Real Ghostbusters and TMNT. What's your favorite Real Ghostbusters toy of all time?
Fright features Janine.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
I'll do one figure and one vehicle. My favorite figure would be the Super Fright Features Winston. He's got on the green spacesuit with the clear helmet. I've always absolutely loved that figure. And my favorite vehicle, this is going to sound, well, you know what? No, I'm going to say the Ecto-1, just the standard Ecto-1 with the claw. Yeah.
Cool.
My favorite figure is just the original Green Ghost.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I also do love the Ecto-2, the helicopter. It's great.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Best favorite, It's Curiously Strange, our friend Austin Young. Best/favorite toy line based on an R-rated franchise. That's a good question.
Oh. Toy line based on an R-rated
RoboCop?
franchise.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like early 90s Demolition Man.
Okay.
RoboCop.
Robin Hood? That wasn't R-rated.
PG-13. Terminator's a really good example. The Terminator 2 line.
Because I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was little, I assume.
That's probably my or Aliens, the Alien Kenner line.
Okay, yeah.
This is kind of cheating because it's based on the cartoon, but the Toxic Crusaders,
the Toxic
Avenger movie
counts. It's like that should not be advertised to kids.
That shouldn't be a cartoon, period.
Yeah.
Those are great toys, man. That's a cool line.
Yeah, they're great.
Hey,
remember that time Craig had a Toxic Crusader toy in with his Ninja Turtles because he thought it was a Ninja Turtle figure?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought it up. Because we need to keep it real.
I don't like it to be that real. Royce.
That was one of the first things.
That's the moment that I want in the YHS movie.
That's a moment. One of the first times you came to our old house, you like pointed out a velociraptor that was not part of the.
It was a Dilophosaurus.
It probably was, but it wasn't part of the JP line. And Jake was like, "That's not part of the line."
Yeah, Jake
and I was
just
like,
picked
"Well,
up a
I'm
toy.
going to move this to my room now because it is now an Abby toy."
Royce Junction wants to know, I'd like to know your earliest memory.
Oh my God. I remember the walls of the house that I grew up in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, and there was a pond outside that our Cocker Spaniel used to always get stuck in the lily pads. So that's my first memory.
I have a very bad memory and can't remember things that happened.
Oh, I thought you meant
you have a traumatic memory for your first memory.
I just in general have a bad memory. I have a hard time keeping some memories, and I don't know what my earliest, like, how do you sit down and track down what your early, like, there's no, it's, I don't, how are your memories stored? Do you think about something and you're like, oh, this is the earliest memory? So I remember being scared and crying getting on the King Kong ride at Universal Studios when I was
so surprised. Jake's earliest memory has King Kong in it.
That's probably
it.
It's a little bit hard because some of these are false answers because we did a lot of like home video recording when I was a kid.
Same.
And so some of my memories are just like memories of me watching myself. Like there's I don't remember dancing to the Super Bowl Shuffle at 2 years old, but I know it happened because I saw it on video.
Yeah.
Here's one, and I don't think I've ever told the story on the podcast. Forgive me if I have. When I was 4 years old, this is related to the Super Fright Features Winston figure. My birthday was coming up, and I was going to get all the Super Fright Features figures. I knew my mom had bought them and hid them, though. And while she was at work, I was looking for them all around the house. Could not find them. And I called her at work and threw a fit and cried on the phone until she told me where they were so I could go open them before my birthday.
I love that. I think my actual earliest memory is this time that Dan Aykroyd yelled at Abby about a chair at
Yes.
Jake's memory goes back to June of 2019.
Nice. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I've got early memories.
Yeah,
a lot of them
I don't really remember stuff from Florida. My probably actual earliest memory would be my brother and I locked ourselves in a cubby hole and tried to draw a picture of Freddy Krueger to scare my parents away so they wouldn't let us out. And then we ended up freaking out and pounding on the door to get out 30 minutes later.
I love a child's logic.
This will scare them. And neither of us had ever seen Freddy Krueger, so I don't really know what we did, but it was like some sort of a glove.
If it was anything like your buzzer sounds, it probably looked nothing like Freddy Krueger.
Buzzer sounds are great.
It's like, look, it's Freddy Krueger's fucking panda bear.
I remember that though because I was terrified.
Obi-Wan Jabroni. That's a good Instagram name. Thoughts on HasLab funding an Afterlife proton pack to match the wand? I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Like, I do think that if they were going to do a proton pack, it would probably be like a crowdfunding type thing because that'd be a very big ticket, expensive item. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if I don't know. There's so many options to get a proton pack out there. If they had a $500 proton pack without a wand, maybe. I just don't know. The thing about HasLab is they only do one about every 1.5 to 2 years. So they did the barge, and then they did the Cookie Monster, which failed miserably. And I've thought about that today. I was like, no one talks about the cookie. I should have asked that at the Hasbro presentation. Question for the audience: where's the Cookie Monster?
We need to make it. Never forget Cookie Monster.
We're all wearing. We should have just all wore Cookie Monster shirts,
dude. And be the Cookie Monster community. Cookie Craig.
No, hold on. What if we were all wearing store-bought shitty Party City Cookie Monster costumes at that? We thought they were
going to be protested?
Yeah.
Oh man.
That would be a really good way not to get invited back. But then they did the
no coverage till we see Cookie.
They did the no coverage until cookies. I love that. They did the oh god, I can't even think what it's called, but the big Transformers one. And then now they're going to do a Marvel 6-inch scale Sentinel. Jake, how tall is that going to be?
Fuck, that's gonna be giant.
It's gonna have to be
That's
like
the thing that's
over
made of all
2
the
feet
other
tall,
things.
right? It's gonna have to be
gonna
over 2 feet.
big. Sentinels are big.
Right. So maybe if the Ghostbusters brand is big and thriving, then maybe I'll say maybe. Ghostbuster Joe, when do you think we're gonna get another trailer for Afterlife? Hey, that's actually a good question.
The real question is, when are we gonna get another song to tease the trailer, Craig?
Oh, like a sequel song,
yeah.
like one that's like, we just want to see that trailer.
But maybe based off of like a song from Ghostbusters.
What, like Flip City, like Trailer City?
It's got it's got to be on Ghostbusters 2.
Well,
I guess we're gonna have to see that trailer.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I was thinking, like, I want to know why everyone I know wants that trailer.
No, that doesn't make sense. Everybody does want that trailer.
Then why is Jake laughing?
I like that one.
Yeah. It's better.
It's better.
All right.
You admit it.
Okay, it's better.
How
about we workshop it?
No, but I'm going to do it in that voice that sounds like, I don't even know what that sounds like.
Hey, why don't we let a listener submit?
Here it is. I'm going to do it one more time. I want to know why everyone I know wants that trailer. Okay, next up. Thank you for that.
Finally, I got one in. Okay. Good now.
A real answer to that question, I would guess late April or mid-May, something like that.
First of all, can I just say I've always wanted to do sound effects on our podcast. It
You
feels
finally
really
achieved
good
all
to
of
do
your
it.
goals.
Thank you.
Is the Hasbro Ecto 1 in scale with the Kenner Classic figures as well? Hey, that's a good question. I've heard there's been a little bit of misinformation. People seem to think that new line of the kids-focused Ghostbusters figures are like 3 3/4 inch, like the size of Star Wars figures. They're definitely bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably
they're almost 6 inch. They're not 6 inch figures, but they're
like
not,
5. They're like the Kenner Ghostbusters figures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that Ecto 1 with the gunner door will probably fit your Kenner figures pretty well. That's my guess.
Yeah.
I know it's the first thing we're all going to try when we buy it. I got 3 Kenners stuck in my new Ecto gunner door. Ryan Dole, if you have to sell all your toys from one toy line, which one goes? Oof.
Wait, what was that question?
Sorry, I'll say it again. If you had to sell all of your toys from one specific line, which one would you pick?
Oh, like if you had to sell everything except one toy line.
No, like I think it's the other way. Like if you had to pick one, like you've got Congo, you've got Beetlejuice, you've got Ghostbusters, one of them has to go. Which one would go?
Power Rangers.
Oh.
I'm getting rid of Craig's
sell
Power
my
Rangers.
toys.
Yeah, I am. I can. They're mutual. No. The Dick Tracy figures, I've always hated them. That's how I've always felt. They're ugly. They're unattractive, and they're mean, and I don't like them.
They're
mean.
They're mean
why
looking.
Are they mean?
Because they look like mean, aggressive, like...
Have you never seen Dick Tracy?
No, I've never seen it, and that's probably another reason why I don't
I've
like
never
them.
seen it either.
Well, from the looks of it, it's not very interesting.
Okay.
So I get rid of Dick Tracy and Power Rangers.
It would be my Beetlejuice figures.
Okay.
I would get rid of that and keep everything else.
Is that because you could replace them easily?
What?
Is that because you could replace them pretty easily?
Oh, I took the question as if you can't replace. Like if you had to get rid of it and never have it.
I don't like to commit to that.
I placed Jurassic Park and Jaws and Ghostbusters and all that other stuff. That's above.
More important.
Yeah, I mean, if it came down to my Power Rangers, Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Bill and Ted, like I
took it as, what are you ready to get rid of in your toy room?
No, the answer to that
Abby's
is
on eBay typing in Dick Tracy for sale right now. You have to be more detailed. It just says for sale, Dick. People aren't going to know what you're talking about.
They're going to know.
All right, last question.
Getting a lot of responses.
Rev_George_Esquire. If you were to do a Proton Pack build, where would you start? Well, we've all participated. I think he's asking, hey, I want to build a Proton Pack. What do I do first?
gbfans.com.
Yeah, there's a lot of places to source parts. If you're building a pack on your own, definitely you're going to want to start at GB Fans, which is an incredible resource for anybody wanting to build a pack. Not only do they have a store where you can buy basically everything you would need, including the shell, the motherboard, the electronics, all of the bits and bops and pieces and parts and resistors and everything that you need for a Proton pack. But also the message boards are such an incredible way to see what other people have done, look at other pack builds that are in progress or old stuff, share progress of your build. It's a really great community. And like, I think with social media, sometimes it's kind of lost, like the old school message board mentality, but GB Fans is an incredible place for Ghostbusters content. I would suggest everybody go there. If you're not a member of the message board, sign up. That's my GB Fans plug, but I believe it.
Jeez, we getting paid for that? That was a big plug.
Nah, it's a good plug.
Yeah.
We didn't even get paid for that.
It's all absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
we'll
not
get
just
dinner
for
on our next vacation.
Yeah, no, it's not even just for Proton. Anything Ghostbusters related. It's a great. I like Facebook groups kind of take over that. Like I promise you, there's better conversations happening on message boards a lot of the time than in everyday Facebook groups. Now, not group therapy. Yes, have some group therapy is great.
Yeah.
But other groups can
make it great.
Can be a little.
And you make it great, and you can join up if you'd like to.
Yeah, let's do a little advertisement there.
Yeah, all you have to do is log into Facebook and search for Yes Have Some Group Therapy, and you'll find our closed group of 750 something members. Feel free to ask to join it's 725 members. So if you'd like to be number 726 tonight or tomorrow, then ask to join. Craig, Jake, or myself will accept you, or Ryan Dole, our fabulous admin. And from there, you can post about Ghostbusters Afterlife and Toy Fair, stuff that's coming out, things you're selling on eBay, and fights that you're getting in with your loved one about the thing that you are trying to buy. Come to Group Therapy and post about it. No memes. We already told you why. I'm not going to tell you again. That's it from Abigail Gardner on Yes Have Some Podcast.
What are you doing, the news? Yeah. Hey, you guys, you hear what song's playing?
You got me going with the music.
Yeah, because it's fucking loud.
Oh, sorry. I just want that trailer. I really want to see it. What if I did a whole song like on the spot?
I was hoping you were going to keep going.
Oh, shit, it started over. How do you work a phone?
Start from the beginning.
Okay. Well, that was our AMA. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, dude.
That was pretty good. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, I just want to say thank you.
Let's get those puffy shirts.
Yeah, puffy shirts. Thank you to everyone who submitted questions. We appreciate
it was great. This is user supplied content. We'll be sending out a couple shirts to some of our favorite questions, mostly Rob Sabal.
Yeah.
The only name we wrote down. Hey, listen, you can follow Yes Have Some Podcast not only at Yes Have Some Group Therapy, which is the official Facebook group of Yes Have Some Podcast, but all of our social media accounts at YHS Podcast and Twitter and Instagram. We have a Facebook page, all of that stuff. And then, of course, the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Yes Have Some Podcast, where you can see and hear.
And smash that like button.
And smash and subscribe and all that. All of our Toy Fair content, new stuff going up all the time. I got my NECA TMNT Loot Crate box I did a review on. I've got the Egon's Lab that I mentioned later. I'll probably mention it later. Yeah, lots of good stuff. And I don't know. We got some fun stuff coming up. We got a little digital media shoot next week. You guys will see us posting about that. And then we're going to be heading out to MegaCon in April. So come hang out with us Saturday at MegaCon. Let's get a YHS, like a group, like a picture.
Yeah.
At MegaCon. What do you guys think?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think, yeah. Maybe we can make a location for a big dinner or something.
Yeah.
Get everyone to come out.
Here it is. If you are in the Orlando area, Saturday night, MegaCon 2020. We're going to do a little YHS big dinner. We'll all get together and have some fun. Maybe we should make like an official event page
Olive
or something.
Garden.
I don't know which Olive Garden will be, but it'll be
maybe at the Yard House.
Oh,
I don't know.
Maybe not. Not after my last experience, but definitely at somewhere that can accommodate however many of us there will be.
Oh God, it's gonna be 4. It's gonna be us and Hal. Hal might not even come.
Chipotle.
Hal disappears. No, it'll be good. Maybe we'll do that. That'd be fun. Listen, for Abigail Gardner and Jacob Walsh, thank you so much. My name is Craig Goldberg. Please, if you do enjoy this podcast, subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you could, take a few minutes, leave us a review. 5 stars are where it's at. Nobody wants a 4-star podcast. We've got sound effects. We've got songs that we do on the spot. Jake saw a guy got hit by a car. There's a lot good. There's good stuff happening.
We go through a lot for you. So
drive-by shootings.
Dude, yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Later.
Thanks for the questions.